We're on top.
So now, how to control your anger? Because sometimes anger comes from the depths of your soul. Have you ever felt like you're just dealing with idiots? Like everyone around you is just an idiot. And sometimes anger makes you feel like you're better than everyone else and everyone else is dumb, Or somebody makes a mistake and maybe that day you had gotten to your tipping point, You just have no room to accommodate anyone else's mistakes. And somebody does something very tiny and you're like, oh my God, you stupid person, why do you exist? And sometimes our anger has actually been linked to, cancer scares, like people who developed, tumors in their uterus. I had this lady actually tell me that her emotions and her, this is fringe science basically, where she said she was very depressed and her depression manifested as cancer. So dealing with your emotions is a very important thing. Kathabi, how do you deal with your anger?
Guys, first of all, I think I really need to preface this by saying there was a time in my life when I actually had to sit back, and I think I've told you this story before, where I actually had to sit back and say, wow, that's what y'all mean when you say merus and anger, because karanga kalikuwa kamenda kamenolewa. I'm telling you, it was crazy. I used to be a very, very angry child. And I never really quite understood why I was angry, where the anger was coming from, but I would lash out in the most horrible ways. And unfortunately, I would always lash out at my brother. Poor child. And now that I look back upon it, and actually, as I said, I think I've told this story before, when I actually now had to just recognize it and just be like, you know what, I need to not. We were chopping cabbage or something. It was one of those, it was in the evening, we were prepping for dinner, and I had a knife, and I don't know what my brother did or said. He just pissed me off, and before I even realized what happened, I had the knife in my hand. I flung it at him, and it hit him right here on his face. And then when it fell, I could see the white of his skull bone. And I have never been so scared in my life. I've never been so sorry in my life. I have never been in a situation where I was at heightened everything. Yeah, it was I didn't know how to I just immediately, I just said, I'm so sorry, please don't tell mom, please don't scream, please don't cry, please, I will never do it again. And it was at that moment that I just be like, woo, okay, maybe I need to put this in check. Maybe I need to not give in to every urge that I have of anger. And I think from then I just decided to make it a conscious decision not to lash out at anyone, even in anger. I recognize that I'm in this space. I am definitely angry, but if I do or say anything, I may regret it and feel the same level of regret that I felt that day. So I try and just I recognize it and then go from there. Okay. Okay.
I feel like one of the things that have really worked for me when it comes to anger management, because it's actually been a thing my brother even pointed out. He was like, you're just like dad, you're always angry.
Oh.
And immediately I saw what he was talking about.
Yep.
I tried to recount a moment where I'm actually happy, and I realized I'm never happy. I'm always just cranky. I'm always prompting someone to do something and shouting it. And then my partner told me, you don't always have to shout when you're, saying something. And then I realized I actually
the pattern starts to present itself.
Yeah, I actually do have an anger problem. And one of the things I do that actually really works is stepping away. When I'm really, really angry, I will step away. Whether it's from a conversation, I'm just having a conversation with you and I get really worked up, I will shut my mouth and I will go to a different room. Because I know sometimes when I say things out of anger, they're very, very hurtful. And it's not what I want to say to you. It's just that in a moment of anger, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this, so you have to feel this too. So I usually just step away, go to the next room. If we're having a conversation on phone, I'll tell you, hey, listen, let me call you back. And I hang up that call. Or if we're texting, I'll just switch off my phone. I have gone through a whole weekend where my phone has just been off. Why? Because I don't want to just respond to you in anger. I know the minute I watch at this phone and see your notification, I will show you exactly. So stepping away has actually solved a lot of things for me. But also when you're stepping away, it could be avoidance. So now you have to communicate why you're stepping away.
Yeah, you have to
'Cause
come back.
There's no way, even when you're talking with somebody or you're having a disagreement with somebody, you're just going to up and leave. That's not an effective way of communication. So just tell them, hey, listen, this conversation right now is really triggering me and I'm feeling very angry and I don't want to say something that I might regret. So let me step away for a minute and let's just go away. But just upping and leaving, and I did that this week. So I probably need to communicate why I just stood up and left.
That is so sad. And I feel like a lot of anger management is just like taking into consideration, like pausing and thinking through what is happening, like recognizing what's going on, because that's pretty much what you've said so far. But another thing, as you are in that moment of like anger, I know people say this thing where you count 1 to 10, and it doesn't often always happen. I think for me, what I've realized is like in my mind, inside of my noggin, if I'm in this really, 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 really angry space, I start to have like a conversation in my mind. It's like a few seconds of just like chatting in my mind. I say exactly what I want to say to you, and then I have another person like, you know, juxtaposing that, and it's like, but like, you know, so it's like a conversation I have in my head of what I say and what you say back, and then what I say and then what you say back, and then the conversation goes on. You may not even realize it's going on. Me, I'm just looking at you like, but in my mind, I am literally battling this out, thinking about what I'm going to actually say, because if I say something, as Turia said, it can be very, very hurtful. And it's true, hurt people do hurt people. You will say the most horrible thing, and you know this, oftentimes the people who make you angry are the people you know. So you know them through and through. You know what you can say will just like, cha-cha, finish him, you know? You know exactly what you can say, you know exactly how to say it, you know the tone to say it in. So just thinking through what you're about to say can be very, very helpful. Yes, sometimes it's still very vital for you to, you know, express your anger. It's just like the way you express it, the words you choose to express it, the tone, all of these things, all of these variations that are there in how the anger is actually, you know, brought forth are very important. They can either make or break a relationship, they can make or break a situation. Sometimes you can say something so hurtful to someone that there's no going back. So just think through what you're about to say, and then say it with articulation and with meaning. Like you are really, really intent on saying this. It's intention that you're saying it with.
And sometimes a physical outlet. Your anger needs